Good evening. We're live. It's Saturday. What's going on? I'm here. I am here. Very much so, actually. So, how's everyone doing? What's up? I see a charity champ. I see a strategy informer. I see a king alpha. And I see a beastman. Oh no, I get booped. 11S. Going to cry on this one. Oh. Hello, Orion. Okay, good here. Awesome. That's... The end is near. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. We will experience the end of Arches, and then we're going to look at the additional content that there is. And after that, we're gonna talk about the game and my feelings towards it. And then I probably will make a video about it, because I do think that game needs... I need to write down my thoughts on it. Probably, eventually. And because there was a lot of impact when I was thinking about what we experienced last on me. I want to talk about it. But I don't think a live stream is a good environment on that. And the last thing that we do today is so Wildfire suggested that we do Knights College next. But I still want to get some suggestions from you and look at them. And that we maybe choose it together also. I think Knights College is a good suggestion. I can't even buy that, which I'm surprised by. So that means there's no porn in it when I can buy it on Steam. Where the Demon Lurks would be actually another good idea. I had that on my list for a while now, so I mean, we will get eventually to all of them, and at one point. But yeah, Where the Demon Lurks is actually a good suggestion too. But I don't think it's finished, right? I'm always a little bit hesitant on going into unfinished projects, because they usually drag a lot. I think the German version that I can buy has all the NSFW removed. So I could safely stream it. At least I think I could. Because I think it has, let me look it up. There's also Sienny if you're into mystery mood. Let me look at Knights College real quick. I think it's not even... So I can access it on Steam. It's overwhelmingly positive. It has actually a age rating of 12 for Germany. It has sexual, like not full-blown NSFW, but it's like suggestive, sexually suggestive, fantasy violence, and alcohol and tobacco. So we could play this one probably without the sex scenes like we did with the cat boy thing. Yeah, it's basically impossible. That is true. Orion. I mean, if you remove the fucking 11s, then it's probably pretty not pretty unviolent or pretty milquetoast, I guess. At least I would say so. Yeah. And undefeated. 922 and undefeated. I'm looking at it. No, that's not the undefeated. Defeated. They're probably both on itch. And look for those on itch. I mean, then we pull the next. We just do the talk now. What are we what are we doing next? So oh yeah. Oh. Hey, Undefeated looks pretty. I already like the art style. Art style. That's the most German way I could have said that. Undefeated looks pretty rad, not gonna lie. And 922 you said, right? That is made by somebody who calls himself Cockhole. Cockhole. The mystery thriller and Undefeated is about MMA. Itch search is terrible, easier to find. I found him right away on Itch, honestly. But Undefeated looks like right up my alley because I love MMA. And that's maybe something that I do really enjoy. Name your own price too, so... And it seems to be relatively short. Seems to be relatively short as well. So that goes definitely on the list. Our best riders in the field are guys named like Dupe and Cockhole. Oh god. Man, I still remember Fireman Connor. That thing was like out of another dimension. The writing was just batshit insane. And not necessarily in a good kind of way. Still need to play the last third of that game, but I still take a little bit of time before I do that. Then I'll just do it. And holy shit, was that funny as hell. Yeah, I definitely check out Undefeated. That looks really good. 922 as well. Where the Demon Lurks is unfinished. Unfortunately. Yeah, I think we'll do. We'll see. Mans from China tend to be like that. Yeah, I guess so. I the concept alone with the forced marriage is like so funny to me. Like the issue, and that also was like funny to me. Like, you don't think a country like China, where they basically don't like gay people, right? It would have been an issue that the guy married a guy, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was that the guy married an anthro. Also, But Mom, I like red rockets. Dad should have never let you play with red rockets when you were a child. You bought him that, you slut. Best family life ever. All right. I think we are ready to dive into arches one last time on stream. So we get ready. Strap on your titties. Let's go. Did I tell you that I started listening to the Arches soundtrack on my way to work? Maybe don't do that. It's not really motivational. It just makes you questioning what you're doing. He's tied up, bound with rope, with a foul-tasting rat gagging him. The big bear has been gone for over an hour, but no matter how hard he tries, he can't make the zip ties and chains move. And then his stomach turns, and the meal Brian had bought him at the bar starts to come back up. He's going to throw up, but he's chained down on his back with a gag in his mouth. He's going to throw up, and then he's going to drown. Vomit floods his mouth. Cameron leaps out of bed, one paw over his muzzle. He stubs his toe horrifically on the door frame to the bathroom, bending back the claw so that it's left bleeding and almost ripped out. But he makes it to the toilet in time to retch up a small amount of whatever is in his stomach. His name was Alan. Rat, Cameron thinks, but the coyote can't remember the last name. The last name of the man who drowned in his own vomit. Cameron sobs, both for himself and for the poor young rat. That rat that lived a short, hard life, only for it to end by choking on the shitty food Brian lured him in with. After a minute, the coyote calms down and listens thankfully that Devon is an incredibly heavy sleeper. What he'd seen definitely happened, and even though the police stopped trying to interview him after learning about his schizophrenia diagnosis, he would still put in an anonymous tip tomorrow. Cameron knows there's at least twice as many victims that the police know about, and he plans to report every single one that he sees. Summer 2021. Half a year later, Cameron finally starts to feel as if he's starting to live life again. Not his old life, but a new unfamiliar one. Tapering down his meds along with exercising definitely helped. Which is why he came here with Devon to visit Arturo. When he sees his old friend, he feels a bit better, just based on the shape of his amalgamation. It's a bit more full and while it's still damaged, also at peace. Cameron knows that feeling. He's different now, and he's accepted that. But he's still Arturo, which the cat has come to accept that too. He's just different now. Changed, like everyone changes. A terrible, dramatic change, but one that can happen to anyone. Things always tend to get worse, but then they tend to get better too. And Cameron knows this just by looking at Arturo. While the cat, Coyote, did just want to see his old friend, also wanted to know a few other things. His methods are morally questionable, but he justifies it since he's tired of being kept in the dark. An hour before they get there, Cameron eats a piece of chocolate from the backpack he brought for their stay at a motel. Devon complains when Cameron says that it was the last one. But the coyote knows the bear would lose his mind if he knew what exactly Cameron did. And she was microdosing psilocybin. Oh no. Oh no. Stupid, idiotic, unbelievable. When it could cause him severe lasting damage. Idiot. It might have been what triggered his schizophrenia, but his abilities increased tenfold, even on this tiny amount. Besides, it made him feel better. Of course, he'll tell Devon when more time has passed, but the bear has shown almost zero interest in the paranormal as of late. I mean, can you blame Dev, really? I think I would have lost my interest in that shit too, after what happened in Echo. Maybe he'll just tell him he's taking it for the mood lift. For now, he just wants to take in the emotions in conversation. Well, what am I trying to do is get rid of this damn limp. That's what people notice most if I'm not talking. Cameron smiles pleasantly despite the fact that Arturo is more guarded and more fortified mentally than anyone else he's met, which is the last thing he had expected. I actually didn't even notice. Ah, well, you will next time you see me walk. Anyway, I hear you're working on your master's, Devon. Every stutter, every struggle feels like a physical blow to Cameron, but he tries not to show it. He knows Artie doesn't want useless pity right now, and Cameron always hated it too. Yep, up at the University of Desert. Sweet. In what? Mechatronics or robotics? Oh, of course. And how's that, how's that progressing? Good. Just finished my first semester. And the place you're working at, they're financing it. That's really quick. I'm at the same company. Was always part of my plan once we moved. I still gotta graduate for them to reimburse my tuition though. No pressure. I don't know how he does it all. Work, school, cooking, gaming. You're good at all of it. That's just like him. He'd party and drink the night before a final, then ace it while hungover. Cameron is close enough to Devon to see the skin flush under his fur. While some might find Devon to be overly humble, it has more to do with the sort of imposter syndrome. Oh, here we go. Here we go. My mortal enemy, imposter syndrome. Holy shit. Cameron knows it must be awkward to praise for not having to study or work as hard as his fellow students and co-workers. Despite that, Cameron still feels proud knowing his boyfriend is already inching into a leadership position at the company. He has no doubt the bear will doing incredible things in his career. So, how are things for you going? What are you doing these days? Weren't you thinking about going back to school to work at that specialized school? Yep. Spectrum Solutions Academy, and I'm already back. Went back as soon as I got vaccinated. Still on RBT, working with kids with low functioning autism. How is it? Great. It was almost like going back home. I'm supposed to have like 2 clients, but they've got about 5 on me now. They were so happy to see me, but they can tell something's a bit off about me though. Sounds a bit rough. The recovery still going well? Artie visibly draws into himself a bit. I like to call it a process these days. Most noticeable part of the recovery is over, I think. Oh, I see. It's silent for just a second too long. Cameron's slow response is mainly due to being distracted, having finally deciphered Artie's general thoughts, feelings, and emotions. In that moment, that guard had slipped, and Cameron realizes Artie knows he's psychic. Of course he told him that, but now he knows it. Now he knows it. Truly believes it. And for the past almost 2 years, he'd realized how much of this happened because of Cameron. Arturo is afraid of Cameron. The cat senses the strangeness, the offness of who Cameron is now. Arturo also wonders if it's possible that the coyote brought a piece of Echo into the house with him. That shadow entity. It entered him and never came back out as far as Arturo knows. Who's to say it's not still? Maybe it's like a management phase? That's what Cam calls it anyway, right honey? Devon, probably confused by the tension, tries to add more to the conversation. That's right. That piece of shit hurt you pretty badly too, huh? Yeah, really, it's the schizophrenia I was diagnosed with afterwards that I'm still trying to manage. Cameron brings up his diagnosis, if only to look for some sympathy and understanding. For a moment, Arturo's expression becomes one of genuine sadness. Yeah, Devon mentioned that a while back. I'm really sorry you're going through that, Cameron. Was it from what happened? I hope it wasn't a weed. No, I'm pretty sure it's happened after that. Pushed me over the edge. I see, that makes sense. Do they think it would have happened anyway eventually? Cameron shrugs. Maybe. They think I might have been in a prodromal state for years. Looking back, I can tell that I was on the brink for a while. But he'll never know. For the moment, though, he feels like he and Artie have made a connection. Artie understands that they have completely different problems, but they are both life-changing. And the two of them are bound to these problems for the remainder of their lives. But then Artie senses that darkness, that bit of echo emanate from Cameron again, and he mentally recoils. It's been a rough road, but we managed to find some stability at the end of last year. God, it's such a pain in the ass trying to settle on the right meds. That took Maria a few years, I think. Hey, Maria. There's some rustling from the hallway and a young leopard comes into the living room. Maria clearly having been very nearby in the hall. Why'd you go? Just wanted to give you guys some space. We were just talking about how long it can take to adjust to meds. Maybe you can give him some advice again? Oh no, what is this? Get the heterosexuality out of my gay visual novel. Oh god, no! No, I'm kidding, of course. She leans in to give Arturo a kiss, and Arturo takes it without a single hint of embarrassment or annoyance. Why would you ever be annoyed or embarrassed when your partner wants to give you a kiss? I have seen meltdown just like that for what? There are people that get genuinely mad at. Oh man, that is shameful display, dude. I mean, okay, you could also argue, man, I'm not really gay, I'm bisexual, but like, holy shit, dude. It's love, and love is universal language. I think everyone would understand that, right? You'd think everyone would. But yeah, it's whatever. Some people are beyond helping. Another solid rock in Artie's life, and one that will stay until the end. While Cameron would normally never invade someone's mind like this, the coyote doubts he'll have many chances to do so again in the future, and he needs to know if Artie's on a good track or not. It was a gay dating sim where you could get joke ending with a girl and someone got really mad. Oh no. Oh no. I'm sometimes so glad I'm not really all that much into internet forums or fandoms or whatever. I think that's where a lot of brain rot just comes from. Just having my little bubble here is probably a good thing sometimes. Maria turns to Cameron, and because they themselves have been friends for years, even a little longer than he's known Devon, he can tell that this is weirdly set up. Oh yeah, antidepressants, antipsychotics, mood stabilizers. It's like I've been through almost all of them. Yeah? They all make me want to sleep all day, but also tear out my fur and crawl out of my skin. I remember feeling that way all the time. I guess you kind of get used to it, or it got better, but it depends on the person, of course. Cameron likes Maria a lot, and just like Devon and Arturo, they slip back into the old swing of things. It's nice, but he can't help but notice how he's been swept out of the conversation with Arturo. Anyway, the main reason I went back to work is this early is because I need something to feel normal again. Sure, things are harder now. Stuttering memory shit can't really depend on the right side of my body anymore. But fuck, is it nice not being cooped up in here, wishing things were different? Oh man, Arturo is the exact opposite of Cameron. At least to some extent. I know he has different issues, and the issues are not as fucked, but well, they are just as fucked actually, if not even more. Cameron has not Cameron. Arturo has a lot of problems too, but it's different. Yeah. He works on it a lot more aggressively, I guess, or is more high-spirited. Just getting things rolling again. The only thing work has complained about is that I guess my inhibitations are a bit lower than they used to be. Which must mean they're non-existent now, right? I swear I'm not trying to be a dick, but you haven't even noticed yet. Oh yeah, they said something about too many words, too little tact. Like 3 years ago, so I'm pretty sure it's just me but magnified. Cameron turns his full attention back to his own conversation. The effort of trying to figure out what's going on while keeping up with what's being said is far too difficult. I can kind of tell that I might be affecting you now, but sometimes it's hard to tell the side effects from symptoms. Psychosis, especially the residual negative symptoms. I mean, positive symptoms are obvious, but making your thoughts flow normally again, making yourself want to go back outside, talk to people, live, that tends to come back last, and sometimes it might come back a bit different. Maria has been suffering from her disorder for years longer than Cameron, and she senses her reluctance to say what might happen. Sometimes it doesn't come back, and you'll always wish to just be who you used to be, but you learn to live with it. Now, while he tries to hold a conversation about psychotropic medications with Maria, he realizes how much things have changed. In fact, if Cameron's visions hold true, this will be one of the last of a handful of times he'll speak to Artie. It hurts. It leaves Cameron feeling a deep pit of guilt, shame, and even a little anger. But mostly because it's unfair and he can't blame anyone. But as he watches his old friend laugh and talk to death, almost like what happened never happened, Cameron sees a long, solid friendship ahead of them. And he's happy for that. Cameron realizes, even without having to read minds, that Maria is specifically there to keep Cameron distracted, to keep him away from Arturo. That finally shuts up the psychic part of Cameron's brain. Rather than leaving a hollow feeling, he's left feeling like he's been punched. Why are they treating him like a monster? Like he's the one. The final thought he receives from Maria, and deep down under her concern for Cameron's diagnosis, she's wondering if he's prodding at Arturo's mind. Arturo can sense him. His own sensitivity is subtle, almost too understated to be picked up on, but it's there, and that's why he feels like Cameron is carrying Echo with him. Cameron is mainly worried that Arturo knows what he's been doing now, and his neck and chest become warm, feeling like he's been caught in the act for the first time. Then Maria mentions something about how she was tired of dyskinesia. She has tardive dyskinesia, and Cameron focuses back on the conversation, genuinely curious if it's gotten better for her with time. And that's how the rest of the afternoon plays out. The reason he'll only see Arturo 2 or 3 more times in his life isn't because of Arturo but Maria. It's because Cameron knows he can't come back here and cause them stress like this. Cameron is no longer a part of their lives, and he simply can't be, no matter how hard any of them try. Despite the hurt from learning their thoughts about him, Arturo's future is, if he has to sum it up, a happy one. And who can ask for any more than that? But he had worked so hard to get right on track. And even though Cameron knows luck is just as important, if these life-altering experiences, seeing Artie content gives him hope. March 2023. Time continues on its steady, unrelenting march, and it brings with it both good and bad. Why is it snowing in fucking March, dude? The pandemic falls into the background. Global instability and war comes to the forefront. Money becomes tighter, and the world keeps moving on as it always will. It still leaves Devon almost breathless at the idea that he changed their lives in one weekend. While he has never really personally hated anyone to the point that he just wanted to hurt them, he does now. But that person is dead. He got the easy way out. For the first year, Devon wasn't sure how he'd continue his life. Cameron was always sedated to the point of almost becoming unresponsive, or angry and sad to the point that he'd just sit in the bathroom and cry. The feeling of helplessness, of knowing that Cameron wanted to be dead, that he'd given up so much, that he even told the bear he'd take opioids again if he could. And so Dev started doing things he didn't want to do. Checking Cameron's drawers, pockets, and his side of the closet when he wasn't around. He's angry at the medical professionals who sent Cameron home because he simply had intrusive thoughts. This had relieved Cameron, though Devon was unsure. In fact, he knew it wasn't right that Cameron was so happy, and it seemed to stop the episode. But then, for the next 2 days, he was in a deep psychotic state. His intrusive thoughts were actually thought insertions, and by the time they got back to the hospital, he was screaming that he was actually dead. He accused Devon of planting speakers in the walls and video cameras in the mirror, which he shattered. Over the first month, it was a normal sight to see Cameron sitting up in bed, brushing away non-existent bugs, completely unresponsive to anything Devon would say. But that's 2 years behind them now, and Cameron is finally starting to really live and become someone who seems to enjoy life again. Because while the positive symptoms of delusions and hallucinations had been practically absent over the past year, the negative symptoms lingered. Yeah, it's pretty heavy shit, Beastman. I can imagine that if you have similar issues or had like similar experience, that you get reminded of it quite a bit. Right. Devon had read about that over and over again. No! Wildfire just in time to melt the snow away. Lack of motivation, lack of interest in things that once gave pleasure, lack of expressive emotions, and moments of confusion and disorganized thought. It was anhedonia that scared Cameron the most. It scared Devon too, because what's a life worth living if you don't want to do the things you trained and aspired to do most of your life? Despite being able to listen to music again, Cameron decided a few months back to finally hang up his guitar. Cameron's paw is still weak, and it was still a slight tremor to it when he holds it up. But Cameron hadn't touched his keyboard either, leaving it unplugged and dusty in their basement. That is the big tragedy, actually, that comes with all of that. Not only is Cameron's life fucked, but like the things he loved are completely uninteresting. Maybe he finds new stuff that he likes, though. There's always a possibility. The sight made Devon far more sad than it did Cameron. He still wonders if he'd been more of an advocate for Cameron, maybe pushed for further observation. They could have stopped the psychosis before it truly spiraled. Maybe he'd be his old self. I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works, Steph. What's wrong? Reading my mind again? Now I can read your face. Devon doesn't want to bring down Cameron's mood. He's the one that wanted to come out and walk around in the snow. And if Cameron wants to do something engaging and active, Devon will do it with him. It is strange that they got so much out of it in March, and it probably would be the last snowfall. I'm just realizing how out of shape I am. Do you think I'm starting to get a gut? Like a bad one? Aren't you on the thinner side of a bear nearing 30? Cameron makes a point of looking at Devon's midsection and prods at him, making the bear huff. Wow, kinda squishy, haha. Devon blushes. You caught me by surprise. You just got done saying it, I wasn't fat. You're not fat, you're a bear. I just didn't think it'd be the punch through your coat. Cameron tries again, but as expected, Devon tensed up and there's a little squishing to be had this time. Let's sit down. Yeah, I think you need to get adjusted again after you had like that. Yeah, I don't want to. After you had those kind of issues, it's also true. And sometimes, just sometimes, won't come back. But you'll find other things that you can enjoy. Devon points at a spot on the bench where the snow had already been brushed away, probably by another couple enjoying the snow. Hey, I hope I'm not annoying you. Devon closes his eyes in guilt, taking a deep breath. No, I'm just worried about different things. I'm happy to be out here walking with you. It's good for the gut anyway. Man, that's the cutest picture so far. That is so sweet. You could just look at that for hours. Just two guys loving each other in the snow. That is beautifully drawn. Cameron rolls his eyes as they sit down. I'm getting chubbier too, you know. It happens and I love your body. If you want to fool around tonight, I can have a closer look. Oh. Cameron leans against Devon's shoulder. Only if I get to have a look at you two. Deal. And if we deem each other to be too chubby, we can renew our gym membership and go on a diet or something. you two, if everything goes smoothly, I don't think you two won't even remember this whole chubby talk and do something entirely different. Devon finds it strange that Cameron is the one usually cheering him up now. But the bear feels the coyote's head twitch again against him gently, a remnant and reminder of what they went through over the past few years. It also makes Devon realize the coyote's worried about him, and the bear wishes he wouldn't be. He gently leans in to nuzzle Cameron. As he kisses his coyote, he realizes that this is a good moment in his life. A day he'll look back on fondly. A day he'll look back on for comfort when the harder days inevitably come. Yeah. Devon glances up at the temple there sitting across the street from Devon. I always wondered what that golden dude with a stick is doing up there. I didn't read it in Devon's voice. Fuck. It takes Cameron a few seconds to understand what Devon is talking about. The guy on top of the Mormon temples? That's Angel Maroney, and he's holding a horn. He buried them, helped recover the gold plates. How do you know that? The Mormon friends told me. Oh, Cody the Bull? Yeah. You're thinking about converting? Maybe if they ever become okay with this. Cameron leans close to Devon again. Devon smiles, and they hold each other for a while. The coyote's head twitches again. It's Devon's again. But Devon knows to wait until the canine is ready to tell him what's on his mind. Devon, did you ever find out what you were looking for? Devon immediately knows what Cameron's referring to, and it makes his stomach twist into knots. That was not what he should have brought up right now. I'll only bring it up this once, but I keep thinking about why we went in the first place. I just wonder if we were able to, figure stuff out. Devon stares down at Cameron, knowing that he's been genuine, hoping that Devon somehow found some peace in that hell. And even though the coyote isn't intentionally pointing out Devon's cascade of failures into a catastrophic, unrecoverable disaster, he feels it. I figured out that it doesn't matter. It isn't worth finding out, and that I need to focus on us. That was the most diplomatic answer you could have given, right? Was it the most non-answer that you could have given? But you didn't. Did you find it out, actually? I don't think he ever did. Not with this answer. Devon feels the sting of tears in his eyes, but forces it back. I figured out I made a huge mistake and deeply hurt my friends. Ryan hurt us, Cameron says almost instantly. You just don't seem as happy or outgoing as you used to be. I know you're really busy with work and you just got your master's degree, which is cool, but you seem... Aye. Like you said, we change. Not really a divide, right? Like chapters in our lives. We change with each one, and the last one we went through was brutal. There will be good changes in the next ones. Yeah, but nothing stays the same. We don't fully recover or become who we were again. And still, we always want to go back to how it used to be. Devon felt a deep twinge in his chest, thinking about what life would be like now, if he had just made the right turn. Yeah, but that's the thing, Devon. You're clinging too much to that past, to that choice. Well, I do understand that shit is very traumatic and fucked up, and it's all your fault. Apparently, I wouldn't say that even. Move past it. Try to move past it. You'll live better for it. Because even if shit's fucked right now, brighter days will come. There's always sunshine after rain. Always. And even if life just fucking kicks you in the balls all the time, at some point it's gonna stop. Stop for me. You can relate to that. Why I can relate so well to this graphic visual novel right now. Tangentially, I can relate to the two a lot. Not because I had the same stuff happening to me, but fundamentally, Arches is about trauma. Or one of the aspects, it's about trauma and how to deal with trauma and how trauma changes us. And that's what I want to talk about in the video too. So, it's a theme in here, you know? A theme I can relate to very well. It's like, how they say, you can never go home again. Because home isn't just a place, but it's people, and it's a certain time, and when it ends, it ends. And you never can get back. And that is also very true right there. That sentence, oh shit, does it hit close to home. Like, once your childhood is over, and you had like a home, or a feeling of being at home in your childhood, once that ends, you can never recapture it. The only thing that you can do is like start building a new home for yourself. Baby, I love you so much, and I know it sounds dumb as hell, but I can be your home. I'll be around as long as you want me to be, so you can always go home. I always will. Sorry for being such a downer. I honestly feel at home with you. You're the only home I've got, but you know what's weird? I sense a lot from that temple, and I've sensed it in other spiritual places too, like those Buddhist shrines we saw downtown, and even those little shops where you see mediums and psychics. It feels like they are taking in energy and letting energy out too, like a portal. Huh? Do you think that means... I guess that there's hope for everyone. Peter, Artie, you, and me. And that maybe instead of nothing, there's Devon overwhelmed with grief, happiness, love, and loss kisses Cameron. Shut the fuck up, Coyote. I just need this right now. They kiss for a long time, and Devon desperately hopes Cameron is right. Because more than anything, he wants to start fresh again and do it right. For now, though, he's here with his husband, sitting and watching the snow fall silently. And that's okay. Because whether they disappear forever or go somewhere else, it'll be together. Devon feels a little hope reignite in his chest. There might be something. There might be nothing. But he's content to wait and find out. Besides, it will be a long way away, he's sure. Not until they're 110 after all. The end. Definitely. What a story. It is definitely different. All right. Arches is over. What a story. What a story indeed. Beautiful. Fantastic. Also, Beastman, yeah, music is really good to keep your spirits high. Definitely. Right. So I heard there's 2 special episodes this year. What do we have? What was that? Oh, you have the gallery with all the stills you can unlock. Oh, I'm missing some. Yeah, it's the can you click on Cameron for one story and there we go. Thank you. Let's start with Cam and then let's do Devon. Curious. The first time I saw something serious was on the day I turned 8. My mom had bought me this old handheld and a few games to go with it. Even though it was a generation out of date and all my friends had the new version, I was still happy to have it. It was cool just to own something. I was alone. Mom let me stay home from school that day as part of my birthday present. Oh. My mom would never let me do that. Like, I never could have stayed home for a prolonged amount of time. But you also aren't allowed. Or even just stay home because you have birthday or anything. I was on this little sofa, sort of slouched down as far as I could go, practically laying on the back of the seat cushions with my head propped up against it. I was playing this game that I can't remember, just staring at the display. Then I saw this weird reflection on the plastic screen. Easy to see because it didn't actually light up like the new model did. Ah, Game Boy, huh? Anyway, there's this reflection of something really tall and dark in the corner next to me. All I can think is that Mom somehow hung up one of her long jackets or dresses on the floor lamp we have there. But that doesn't make sense. So I look up on the right, and then I saw it. A face staring down at me. The yellow eyes with slit pupils, no muscle, face flat, and the edges of its mouth curled up into a grin. Its teeth were long and sharp, all of them. I don't remember seeing ears. I don't think it had any. I just know that wasn't a person. It was a thing, creature. The yellow eyes were standing out from the black matted fur that covered its face. I only could see the edges of its mouth because it had on it what I think was a raincoat or something. There was this big collar that was turned up and covered the lower half of its face. And it was tall. Its shoulders and the back of its head and neck were up against the ceiling, so it was looking straight down at me. The rest of its body was pushed back into the corner next to the sofa, its arms out to the side and pressed to the walls like he's bracing himself. What I think were long black claws stuck out from the openings at the ends of the sleeves, dug into the walls. The rest of its body was pushed back into that corner next to the sofa, its arms out to the side and pressed to the walls like he's bracing himself. What I think were long black claws dug out from the opening at the end of the sleeves, dug into the walls. And for the few seconds I stared up at it, it didn't move at all. Not even a little bit. Kind of like it was stuck in a still frame. It's weird to see something that you know shouldn't exist. Like there's this extra moment where your brain absorbs what it's seeing. Then instead of making you react right away, like maybe seeing a spider would, there's this extra beat where the brain is really analyzing it. Like, yep, this is really happening, and it really shouldn't be. But here it is. It's hard to remember what exactly happened next. I just sort of ran, or at least scrambled on all fours trying to get the hell out of there. I didn't hear anything, didn't feel him move, and I was too scared to look back. I was tumbling out of the wet grass because it was cloudy and drizzling, like always, and then onto the little paved walkway that wound its way through the trailer park. I was just running up that walkway, getting as far away from the thing I didn't understand as I could. What kind of fucks me up to this day, even worse, is that when I first saw it, is that when I was a good 3 trailers away, I looked back, not really expecting to see anything, but I did. There, framed in the little window of our trailer, the flat-faced creature, still with the same expression, the collar still up, looking frozen in time. The blinds, which had always been bent and askew, were moving though, gently swaying behind its head as it grinned right at me with those yellow eyes. I just sat at the entrance of the park, shivering in pain, in the rain. After a moment, one of my neighbors rushed out of her trailer to check up on me. I told her that I was fine, but I wasn't able to tell her why she saw me running from my trailer, or why I couldn't get back into my trailer. So she brought me into hers instead. I guess she thought that maybe someone broke in and scared me, because then the cops were there. Then my mom was there, and I think she got into some trouble for leaving me alone. When the cops left, I got in big trouble, but I was just happy to have people around. Of course, I couldn't tell them what happened, because it couldn't have happened, but it did. Then it happened again, and again, and again. They can't touch you, they can't hurt you. At least in the physical way. Mentally, it's a different story. Which makes sense because all of this is mental. It was messed up way before the thing that I saw in my trailer, which might explain why I saw it. But it was me continuing to see it that traumatized me. But it was me continuing to see that traumatized me. I never knew when I was going home to an empty trailer, or a trailer with a raincoat monster inside. Eventually, I was able to realize that it didn't really notice me, I guess. The first time it definitely wanted to make its presence known to me. These days it just kind of pops up everywhere now and then. And it's really just a cardboard cutout of a spooky character from a horror movie. Yeah. It's still startling when it's at the foot of your bed at 2 a.m. But you live and you learn to live with them. Soon the cardboard raincoat monster with claws became a man who would walk around our kitchen. He was angry, cursing, throwing stuff around. But I was okay with it all because he never noticed me. I couldn't say the same about the next thing though. That was another flat-faced creature. But this one moved around on all fours, with elbows and legs at the angle of like a spider. He would crawl onto my bed over my face and whisper things at me. That's when it really became hard. And things finally broke down after the first time I tried ketamine. For most of my teenage years I was a weed and opioid kind of guy. Not like heroin or anything, but a pill every now and then to go with the weed so I could really chill. My friend, well, he loved stuff that was a bit more intense. Stuff that really made you feel something. Or nothing at all, which is what he promised me before I took it. You'll feel nothing but calm. And then, while I was sitting in my friend's living room, a bear broke through the window. He had a ski mask, and he had a gun, and I screamed, and I ran, and I called 911. And of course it wasn't real. I was just tripping balls. I was so out of it, actually, that I thought I was watching someone else do all of that. I'm not friends with that guy anymore. But it was a turning point for me. Cameron the Ketamine Coyote. It's his street name in Shadowrun. The Ketamine Coyote. He knew drugs made these hallucinations worse. I knew drugs made this hallucination worse. I knew that the longer I stayed in one place, the more they appeared. And I knew they weren't real. I knew because why was there a creature with foot-long claws and a raincoat that stood 10 feet tall? Well, I'm going to bet such a thing never existed in that trailer. I'm going to bet nothing like it ever existed at all. That the interesting reasoning or the interesting question to ask is, why did you create it in the first place, Cameron? Is that a creature that was supposed to protect you? Is it your trauma manifested in hallucinations? What is that character? There's a lot to dig in here, actually. I created it and it follows me. And I ignore it, even though it's starting to get weirdly insistent. October 2019. What? Why did it jump back? What? You alright, babe? Dev somehow already had his shirt off. Little eager, huh? I don't answer the question as I slide my shirt over my head and immediately does pause. Go to feeling out my sides. I understand that, Orion, that this is a story that happens before the main game. He's a little bust, so I don't think this is really going anywhere. He just wanted to get away from the party. We wandered around the little forest next to the house. Dev was looking for orbs or something. It started raining, so we ran to the car and decided to wait for Jason to come out so we could leave. Hopefully soon, because this thing stands outside the window. It's aware of us. I don't like that. Even to this day. Is there someone out there or something? Dev looks behind us, right at the creature, and that chill runs down my back as he stares face to face with it. It's grinning at him with sharp teeth and stooped over deeply because it's too tall. But as usual, Dev doesn't react. That's because he's normal. Are you seeing things again, Cam? Just because you told me it stopped doesn't mean it might not come back. You'd really like that, wouldn't you? No. Things are ghost-free. Well, whatever you think they are. Are you seeing things again? I say it deeply. I mean, it never goes away. It's just better sometimes compared to other times. Maybe it's the compartmentalization of Cameron's schizophrenia. That raincoat monster. Dev rubs his bare arms. His bare arms? His chest heaving, then shuddering as I rub my paw up his pecs, squeezing them. Are we doing the pornographic thing? I don't want to get you upset, but I close my eyes waiting to be upset. He already knows I don't like him treating me like some sort of psychic. I'm just a stupid kid that sees horrible, useless things. But would you at least tell me if you see something that might be important to me? I blink, thinking. It doesn't get any more explicit. I blink thinking, then realize what, or rather who he's talking about. Oh, well yeah, of course I would. Just that I don't really see people. Just things. Not good things. Man, this is so well animated, dude. Like, holy shit. The atmosphere is impeccable. Dev has gone a bit quiet as I rub down his stomach, playing with the fur and the thick layers. They come natural to bears. Something that I like. I feel weird doing this while waiting for your friend. I mean, it's our car, but we are both 25 and acting like it's just can't wait. We gotta do this before we go home. I mean, why not? You can't, I mean, probably not because you're not as flexible anymore in your body, but like you can still fuck in your car when you're 75. I don't see an issue with that. Usually Dev just like to be intimate like this. He just can feel me. But he only grunts as I tentatively open his fly. He doesn't stop me, so I keep going. Well, you know, I was supposed to visit Echo today, but Larry had some problems or whatever. So now we're at this shitty party, and it's gonna be months before I have the chance again. I shrug, wanting to keep the conversation light. I've seen worse parties, I mean. Next time, I'm not bringing Larry. Just gonna be me and whoever else wants to go. And not for him to go on. The sigh's frustrated in a frustrated way that has just expanded against me. He pulls my paws from his crotch and he holds me, just pressing our bodies together. Obviously, I want you to go, but I don't want you to feel like some kind of tool or something I'm just using. I think it could be a good experience for all of us. Stare back at him. Didn't like 10 people die or something? Well, not that. But how things will change if we see something. And what does that mean? That there's something more. There's something to go after we die. I think hard to choose my words carefully. But how do we know that? Seeing something doesn't really mean anything. I've learned that over time. Just Dev sighs, not really annoyed, just tired. Probably having a hard time of thinking straight on the alcohol. I just need your help for a few days. I need to know where she is. Nowhere. She's dead. So she's nowhere. I'm sorry. I don't want to do this. It's such a bad idea. But this is important for Dev. It always has been. So now that he's finally asking me to go, I can only say, of course. He grins and lets out a breath, like he's relieved. I had no idea he was this tense about it, though I guess my reactions to previous comments about the town told him I wasn't exactly a fan of going, and for good reason. But I can't stand a few days of discomfort if Dev finds his answer, which I really hope he does. Thank you. No problem, man. I try not to jump because just as I said that, for the first time in my life, I see cardboard creature move. Yeah, discomfort. The cardboard creature moved, huh? Interesting. I still can't make really sense of what the cardboard creature is, but I guess they are playing with that deliberately. So you keep guessing. So let's do whatever Dev does and see what his little side story is. Hey, honey, whatever happens, just play that, okay? No matter what. No! It's back in the cave. Holy fuck, dude. Cameron? March 2024. Oh, alternative history. Echoes aren't hard to find. They are everywhere. But some are worse than others. And Cameron knows which ones need taking care of the most. Devon! A flash of light, and I've gotten used to seeing explodes behind my eyelids, along with an explosion of pain in my face and head. Devon, shit! A dull, blunt thud resonates through my stomach, and a familiar ache seems to hollow it out completely, sending all the breath I have held inside blasting out in a wheezing groan. Then the familiar thump of bone on pavement as my legs seem to turn to jelly, and I go down to my knees, head bowed, gasping for breath. Next time you're dead, you fucking creep. Watch out! One of my paws folded under my stomach as I grip at my gut, reaches for the grip of my pistol strapped to my waist. I look up and see a scruffy-looking raccoon. The mask of his facial fur barely visible in the soft yellow glow of the streetlights. Is it our boy? Is it our boy Kutsu? Probably not, but that would be too funny. He's got his foot drawn back and looks about ready to kick me again while I'm down. But his buddy, a squat, muscular rat, probably the guy who hit me last, holds him back. I hear Siren Man, let's go. The raccoon looks back down at me almost like he thinks I'm the one that called the cops. But he moves on spitting on me as he goes. I lower my head even more as I hear them scurry off toward an area behind the warehouses they'd been beating me up against. Now I'm left alone in a patchily lit parking lot. Already faint sirens fading away into silence. Well, I'm physically alone. Are you okay, Devon? Cameron's voice comes through again. And I can't tell. He's trying to hold back from sounding panicked. I'm fine, babe. Don't worry. Just need a minute. Topa Cameron. Yeah. That's the that's one of the endings we saw, or one of the glimpses we saw in the OG storyline where Cameron died at Brian's hands. I sent him reassuring thoughts while my face comes to rest on the rough gravel and asphalt of the lot, feeling myself drool into it. Cameron goes quiet after that, realizing there's not much he can do except wait. 2 minutes later, I grunt and make my way to my feet before looking back one last time. The men that had already left in their car, the sounds of the roaring engine fading into the night. The warehouse, though, sits still and silent, gently illuminated by the surrounding streetlights. From one of the top windows, I see it, probably standing on the grated metal flooring. I see it watching me with its red glowing eyes. The scruffy raccoon's punch got me good right over the left eye. I can feel it starting to swell. Closed and I head for the medicine cabinet. Starting to swell close and I head for the medicine cabinet. I swallowed down 4 ibuprofen and a Tylenol for the throbbing ache that's already established itself firmly in my brain. You're gonna want to eat something with that, Dev. Cameron's feelings of gentle reproach are barely contained under the veil that he's trying to hide them under. And he finally blurts out his concern. He's right though. And even though the hollow ache in my gut makes me not want to even think about food right now, I grab a piece of bread and force it down in a few bites. Bail. Another term we come up with to describe something we don't understand. In this case, it's just a sense of... In this case, it's just sense or feeling we both get when hiding thoughts or feelings from the other. It's like a mental shield. Honestly, probably the healthiest tulpa so far. It is, yeah. Maybe. We don't know yet entirely, but it probably is. Like a mental shield, always up and rigid, but ready to come down if you let it. It sounds bad, but when someone's living in your head 24/7, you need some privacy, and so we automatically hide behind our veils most of the time. It's not like I'd prefer silence though. Cameron's thought voice is quiet and gentle, but especially now that he's trying not to upset me, which he shouldn't have to be doing. I'd fucked up bad this time. Caught and got my ass kicked. I'd been staking that spot out for weeks. Cameron having noticed an echo in the upper windows of a random warehouse in the city's industrial park district. One that was, for whatever reasons, really strong. From what I was able to gather, they were using it as sort of something definitely bad, because the few times I'd gotten close to the warehouse, I heard faint, distant screaming. I gathered enough to know for sure it's not organized crime or gang related. Even with the hive might have problems communicating. It's something much more strange and sinister, as it always is when it comes to echoes. I actually wasn't able to gather much except that the rat was the main source, and that the one that needed to be dealt with somehow. Not that it matters now. After catching me, they'll be definitely moving their base of operations. The swelling is really bad, Devon. Maybe we should try putting some ice on it. Last sentence is posed as a question again, apparently worried about how I'll react. Yeah, I know. I grab an ice bag from the cabinet and open the freezer before pouring several ice chunks in it. You know, I'm not mad, Cameron. You are? Cameron is like, nah, you're coping right now, dude. The tone in his voice says it all. The fan service. I'm not mad, but the fan service. I put the cold compress on my left eye, sighing loudly. Not at you, so why are you so upset? I mean, he's single now. So he has his boyfriend in his head. He's not single, and I'm not touching that damaged good. I'm sorry, no. You can't fix him. You can't. The entire situation and how stupid it is, and I can feel how you feel. No matter how many barriers I put up, you rub off on me, and I can't help it. I wince, my eyes closed, thinking about all the times Cameron has described what it's like being stuck in my head. How when I get gloomy, he so does everything around him. Something else. To feel like a complete jackass about. Yeah, well, I can't always control how you feel, I know, but that's why I'm trying to hold off. Sorry. No, I mean... I huff loudly in frustration. Oh, I honestly wish I could be happier for you. So you're more comfortable living up there. I'm silent for a few moments. Moments I wish weren't silent. Because I know that I'm thinking about. It could be. If you'd give up on this, whatever the hell it is. Feel a flash of annoyance. And this time it is directed at Cameron. This is helping other people not have to go through what we went through, Cameron. This is stopping years-long cycles of pain and suffering. That's what the hell this is. Haven't we suffered enough? Maybe. Who else is in this position that can't do what you can do? Ah! I'm not sure we are making much of a difference. We clearly don't know what the fuck we are doing, Dev. Dev is LARPing as Batman. My heart sinks, realizing how much Cam might actually not want to do this. The one thing that's kept me going the past few years. You're the one that suggested this, you know? I say it in my head, the way I do when we're in public, when I just don't want to say it out loud. I know, but I didn't realize it would become so dangerous, that if things did get physical, we'd just move on, but I didn't realize you'd... Cameron searches for the right words. When you set your mind on something, it's hard to get you to change it. That's dangerous and stupid. And that fucking gun you have strapped to your hip all the time doesn't help. I need protection. What he said, and then he ended raw anyways. Of course you do. But what if they saw it? What if you actually do have to pull it out? What then, Devon? And I have to, Cameron. I look down at my phone. Arturo, shit. Honey, maybe just ignore it for now. We need to talk. He'll understand. We planned this call ahead by 3 days. I can't just ignore it. But you can. He'll understand, honey. But I've already made my mind up my mind to pick up. Honey. He doesn't use pet names that much. But when he does, I know he's really concerned and upset. His quiet, meek objection almost makes me stop. But I have to. The almost physical pull of two people who are very important to me, stretching me in opposite directions. Maybe sensing my rising frustration and stress, Cameron backs away in my mind, the way he does whenever I need privacy. It's another level to the veil barrier. The feeling is similar to what it would have felt like if he just left the room. I put the phone up to my muzzle, wincing as he presses against my bruising face. Hey man, what's up? I quickly make a final aside to Cameron before Artie responds. After this, hon, I'll promise we'll talk more. Cameron doesn't respond, but I know he hears me. Then Arturo's cheerful, slightly extended voice comes through the speaker. Yo, how's it going, man? Press my index and thumb pads of my right paw right against my brows, trying to tame the ache that still seems to echo through my head. I'm doing okay, all things considered. Jesus Christ. Apparently he hasn't completely left the room. I ignore Cameron for now. Most of my focus is trying to sound as okay as I just told Arturo I was. Hope the things aren't too terrible. You sound pretty awful. I can sense that he's implying what he's implying with those words. I probably sound like I've been crying with my swollen nose and raspy voice. 4 years removed from Echo, and he still knows that I'm struggling. Even Arturo seems to have moved on better than I have, after taking a bullet to the back of his head. Sometimes I can't even tell it's happened. Sometimes I almost forget, but something always reminds me sooner or later. I know Artie never forgets, how could he? But I can't read minds like Cameron. No, not too bad. The silence that follows is an awkward one, which isn't normal when Artie is involved, the silence part, I mean. But it feels like he's waiting to say something to me that he's nervous about. Are you okay? I feel a jolt of worry and concern. Last Artie and I had talked, he mentioned that things are a bit strained between him and Maria, mainly because he was having a hard time trying to take care of her the way that he used to. If they are going to split up, I don't know what Arturo is going to do. I'd offer for him to live here, of course, but that would make things difficult between me and Cameron for a ton of different reasons. Yeah, I'm okay, yeah. Do you need a place to stay? Arturo lost the release of tension. Makes me feel a bit better. No, me and Maria are doing alright. It was just a few weeks ago and things got a bit hard since we were going through our own shit at the same time. Yeah, that sounds miserable. You just need someone to talk to right now? Yeah, that, but it's about me. I furrow my brows at that, wondering how Cameron would know that with Arturo being so far away. Maybe a vision or something. He's right though, as he usually is. I've had something. His stuttering becomes more pronounced, which happens when he's flustered or emotional. I stand more upright, muffling the grunt that comes from my mouth as my sore stomach muscles tense up. Hey dude, it's all good. Tell me what's on your mind no matter what it is, okay? That seems to calm him a bit down and he takes a deep breath. How are things going with you, with being alone? He let out a hollow fake laugh that falls flat. Yeah. I take a deep breath. I take a deep, full breath. Again wincing at the dull ache in the center of my body. I'm managing? You, ever thought of seeing people? If Cameron's listening in, he doesn't say anything. No, not yet. Quiet for a while, and just as I thought, as I'm about to talk about how work's going, how work's got me too busy to date right now, I hear something that makes me freeze. Something's been bothering me a lot lately. It's about Cameron. I'm so sorry. And the words dissolves away into sobs. Shit. 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 Feel a pang of frustration followed by even more guilt. In the past, I jump at opportunities like this to be there for people that might need me, but I'm just not as good at it as I used to be. Cameron, Arturo, my parents, my work colleagues, they can all tell. In fact, my mom was the last person to encourage me to start going out again, even saying the gay scene is better out in Fort Allen and to maybe just come back home, which made me laugh and want to cry at the same time. That is so cute of his mom. I respect the hell out of this mother. Just telling her gay son, look, come home. We have a better gay scene here. I've looked it up. Just come home, honey. You're gonna do good. Also, mom, sadly echo. Yeah, exactly. I feel Cameron's presence return, though, briefly. You're doing good, Devon. You know that. No. That is not the real Devon. That is not the real Cameron. No. But Cameron also said as much that this is not the real deal. I pressed the speaker closer to my ear. Hey, dude, what's wrong? Through hitching stops and stutters, Arturo talks about the last time he heard Cameron's voice and how hard and I start over. Through hitching stops and stutters, Arturo talks about the last time he heard Cameron's voice, about how he heard him begging Brian not to do whatever it was he was doing. Sometimes I wonder if I had done something, he might have been able to get away with something. I was just so slow off because of the gunshot wound. So maybe he could have, I don't know. I'm sorry. This is something I hadn't heard about before, and in the back of my mind I wonder why Arturo would tell me this. Feelings, smells, thoughts, tastes, everything from Echo comes back, reminding me of being trapped in the van while it was all happening. While Artie and Cam were being hurt in ways that can never be fixed or undone. I feel my heart rate rise and my breath becomes heavier as adrenaline starts coursing through my body. So, I'm gonna say this before Devon reacts here. I don't think Arturo could have done anything. Arturo is basically the most Yeah, I would say the most blameless party in this entire scenario, as stupid as it sounds. You had a fucking bullet lodged in your brain, Arturo, and I don't think anyone would blame you for not engaging with a psychotic serial killer at that stage of your life. And you also shouldn't, like, think you did something wrong because you clearly didn't. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, exactly. Cameron's still here, still there for me, even though he made a point of leaving earlier. Senses my confusion, mix of anger, grief, and guilt for feeling this way. Then Arturo is trying to opening up to me. It's okay, it's over. I'm fine. It would have gotten us both killed if he tried anything. I just can't help feeling awful about it. That you lost the guy you were that close to. I swallow hard. No, you don't. Like, there is nobody. I need to stop making that joke. Mentally willing my voice to stay steady before I start talking again. Don't worry about me, Artie, and try not to blame yourself for any of that. I'm the one that asked you to come, remember? This shouldn't have ever happened in the first place, and I'm sorry. Artie laughed softly through his tears. That's word for word what I expected you to say. It's just you seem distant lately. Like the past year. You used to talk all the time. Artie goes on about how it used to be. I feel surprising urge to tell him about what's happening. About how Cameron is still with me. No. The thought is strong and wavering, and it overwhelms my mind to the point that I lose my train of thought. It's happened before, but not like this. It makes me wonder how strong his own thoughts actually are. If maybe he could completely take over if he wanted. Yeah, he can. Either way, I can't tell Artie after a message as powerful as that, so I settle for something more vague. Listen, man, all I can say is that something is going on, but I'm not ready to talk about it just yet. But I'll promise I'll tell you someday, alright? I'm surprised by how relieved Artie sounds to hear that. Okay. That's cool. That's your time, man. And sorry for unloading like that about what happened in that town. I won't bring it up again. I just needed... I don't know. I think... Yeah, I mean, talking about is probably one thing. But like, blaming yourself for what happened, no. Artie, you're like the most blameless guy here. Everyone else has some blame to share, even Cameron. But like Artie, no. I get it. And if you need to talk, I'm here for you. Same. I was actually thinking maybe we could meet up again. Maybe go off-roading or even try some rock crawling in your new Jeep. It makes me smile that despite what happened to him, he's still wanting to do shit that we used to. shit that could get him killed. But if it makes him happy, you know, we should. Maybe over the next weekend? Feel a slight pang of jealousy. Maybe even some resentment, and it takes me by complete surprise. Sweet. Maybe might have to be the weekend after, since Maria and I have a day trip weekend going on. I'm confused and then shocked when I realize those feelings came from Cameron. It takes a good few seconds before I can get my thoughts straight again. Weekend after sounds good to me. We talk a little bit more, but Cameron's simmering irritation becomes too much to ignore, and after a while I make an excuse about needing to prepare dinner before hanging up. Partially true, but I really only use the microwave these days. I can at least be happy knowing that Arturo is sounding way better than when we first started talking. Cameron stays silent as I actually do start make my food. An unappetizing plastic bowl of lightly seasoned frozen vegetables. I'm still baffled at Cam's strange reaction. And I was on the phone with Artie. But I know to wait for him to gather thoughts before trying to talk to him. I subtly project the feeling of me being tired, hoping it might make the coyote take some pity on me with whatever is that it's pissing him off. He's keeping it tightly guarded though. As I open the packaging on the bowl, I think I hear something in the house and my ears perk up for any sound, any movement. No one's here, Devon. Just being a little curious is all. Nothing wrong with that. Not usually, but paranoia can drive anyone insane. I poke some holes in the plastic wrap. I went the bowl before throwing it into the microwave and starting it. I don't have much appetite. My gut's still feeling queasy after getting beaten up. How did you get beaten up by a fucking raccoon and a rat? How? You gotta explain that to me. You're a fucking bear, dude. You should have just ripped them apart. You can understand getting beaten up by Brian to some extent, but like a fucking rat and a raccoon? Really? Bro? They said the echo was strong, but I don't know. No, its echo is very weak. I gently feel around my face with my paw, finding where the swelling is most painful around my left eye. Gingerly, I apply the compress to it, a little surprised by how much that swelled up between the fight and getting here. You were talking on the phone for over half an hour. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Cameron. So now you're mad at me? Oh. Because I'm just trying to fucking help. Well, it doesn't help when you're pissed off about something that you're hiding from me. I am not pissed off. I'm stressed out and worried after what just happened to you. I'm fine. Getting hit in the head is never fine, Devon. Well, it is this time. Besides, I'm talking about what happened with Arturo just now. Cameron sighs mentally loudly in my head. What that I did was... What? That I didn't want you to talk to him so you could start treating your injuries? I'm starting to realize he's not even going to tell me what the problem is. The problem is probably that he's a fucking hallucination, a tulpa, and you're going completely into it, Devon. No. About you getting mad after I considered telling Artie about your situation. Of course I got mad! I wince as Cameron's thought echoes in my head, making my headache throb even more. Next thought are less thunderous, under control, but still angry. Devon, I don't want people thinking you're crazy, and I especially don't want anyone knowing about what you do. You could get yourself arrested or killed. I wonder if he's mainly implying that I could get the both of us arrested or killed, which is of course worse. But I don't let myself get distracted. Something's not right. Artie believes in this stuff. I mean, not this situation exactly, but he's really spiritual and believes in psychics and mediums. This is very different. It's not that big of a leap. Besides, what if you used your clairvoyance to show Artie that at least some of what I'm saying is true? That could be a good starting point. Devon, bringing Artie into this is only going to make things way more complicated than they already are. We can trust Artie. With that mouth of his? There it comes out. There it really comes out. Artie and Cameron don't really see eye to eye at all. Kinda funny. I bristle a bit as Cameron points out Artie's uncanny knack for saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. He doesn't fuck around with theorist shit like this. But how is this even going to help us? Like I said, it will make things so much harder if even one person knows. I'm realizing this where this conversation is going, and I try to keep my thoughts under control. To keep them from wandering. Most of my thoughts are hidden from Cameron unless I intentionally project them out to him. But if they're strong enough, he picks up on them. This time though, we both seem to be on the same page despite not having to read minds. It's lonely, alright? Just being able to talk to someone would make things... His next thoughts are sharp and short. You need someone to talk to. You just need someone to talk to. Cameron isn't asking me, just making a deadpan statement. It almost hurts with how cold he's being. Even when he gets upset or huffy, there's still a warmness to him that always makes me feel like things are okay, but that's gone now. Try to remember if this has happened before. Cameron is always nice and gentle after I've been through something. I've been through something rough like this, but this time I keep these thoughts very quiet as I close my eyes in frustration. The aches of my body making things so much more agitating and distracting. Listen, Calm. If you're just jealous because I want to hang out and be closer... Jealous? Wince again. Please, Cameron, my head. I'm scared. I'm trying to look out for you because you won't even do that for yourself. Well, that's not what it felt like. I felt it when Arturo was talking about hanging out over the weekend. Fine, maybe I felt a little jealous. But it kind of fucking hurts when you realize you're not enough for your boyfriend and he has to rely on some straight guy to make him feel good. Jesus Christ. Cameron, you're physically that. Okay. Imagine your imaginary boyfriend is getting jealous of the straight guy you're trying to have fun with. What the hell? I'm angry but also baffled at just how nasty he's being. This isn't like Cameron at all, or at least I don't think so. This has never come up before. Well, that straight guy almost lost everything trying to save us. Besides, I'm not into him like that at all. And he's definitely not into me. You know that. And you'll be there for the whole time. Conversation, what we're arguing about, is also surreal. Since when did Cameron say stuff like this? I even feel this way. Was this always the case? You're oversimplifying things, making me sound like a crazy obsessive boyfriend, so you can't justify things that are stupid and dangerous. Opa, please wording, wow. Is it really that stupid and dangerous considering everything else I'm doing? Just need some fucking peace and quiet tonight, please. I think out that last part cleared loud in my mind and I immediately regret it. Fine, I'll give you space and you can do whatever you want. Bye, Devon. Oh, come on, Cam, I'm really tired and... The silence is immediately eerie. He must have gone far into the place he usually goes when he's angry. But right now I can't feel anything from him. I wait in silence for a while. Then I sigh in a way that makes it sound like I'm irritated, but it's mostly covering up my slowly simmering anxiety. I wonder how long it'll be before he decides to come back. No matter how much I pretend, though, I can't shake the feeling of deep emptiness. This is something I haven't felt in years. Nothing's going into those minds back in Echo. Almost exactly 4 years ago now. I'm alone. Wait, I need to go back. Wait, Cameron! Cameron, are you there? The feeling of being completely alone in my head is something I haven't felt since just before I killed Brian. Cameron, can you please let me know if you're here at least? Just one sign, and I'll leave you alone. My voice sounds hollow and empty in the empty space. Cameron, you there? No response except the microwave. Try not to panic and instead grab a fork to prod at the bowl of mushy, unappetizing vegetables. The smell overwhelmed by garlic. This isn't funny at all, Cam. Actually, it's kind of fucked up and pretty cruel too, because I didn't even do anything wrong. Yep, it's very healthy indeed. I wait a little longer, knowing that words would definitely trigger Cam to come back, but when he doesn't, I finally do start to panic. After 5 minutes, I drop the fork in the bowl and look up. Cameron, you're really scaring me right now, and you can at least let me know you're here somehow. Anything? Empty. Because I'm gonna start freaking out for real if you don't say something to me, baby. Silence. That silence seems to become tangible, blanketing me with a feeling of suffocation. Cammy, baby, please. For the next 3 hours, I go from panic to anger to grief, back to panic and into anger and grief again. That's a lot of emotions within 3 hours. How could he do this to me right now? You asked for it! You asked for this! How could he? Well, he doesn't want to be around me, and I'm gonna do stuff he doesn't like me doing. Pull out an old bottle of bourbon and start drinking. Cameron saw me doing this on a mostly empty stomach, and after getting hit hard in the head, he would step in, no questions. But he doesn't. After waiting for almost an hour, I head to bed drunker than I've been since probably back in college. I curl into a ball, hugging Cameron's pillow tightly, silently begging him to come back. It's then that I start to process the idea that he could be actually gone. Cameron never said he could just leave, and he's never done it before. Maybe he doesn't even know how to come back. Silent begging isn't enough, and I mumble my coyote's name into the pillow over and over, hoping that if he's here, he'll see how pathetic I look and come back. Oh, Jesus Christ, Death. Like, the most broken bear. I wouldn't be surprised if he become the next Brian after this. Holy shit, dude. It's actually a pretty terrifying prospect. Brian creating his successor in Devon. But he doesn't. Silent begging isn't enough. Maybe somehow this isn't real because none of this feels real. Maybe this feeling of disbelief and devastation that's been with me since Echo has all been a dream, and I'll wake up in 2020 back with Cameron in bed next to me. I'm lucky I'm so drunk because I don't know how to deal with this sober. For now, I just cry myself to sleep. So when's your birthday? December 21st, you? October 18th. So I guess we don't have to worry about birthdays anytime soon. I hear the piano playing along with the faint sounds of a radio in the background. Familiar warm feeling of the good times before the terrible changes. I'm standing in the doorway of the music classroom, the one that Cameron likes to go to in the early evenings so that he can play on the grand piano. It's interesting being in this world. I haven't spent much time outside the engineering building since finishing my general studies, but being here looking around at all the instruments, I appreciate it all a bit more compared to the last time I was in this building when I took intro to music theory a few years ago. These are the good times, but I won't know it not until I go. The piano is way easier for me. I thought you sounded just fine on guitar. It was his voice that I really liked though. Rough and smoky, but delivered with a smoothness that reminds me of old black and white movies. 2 weeks in and I'm already cautiously hoping this relationship will turn into something more. Cautious because Jesus is still fresh in my mind. The relationship had only lasted for a few months, but I wasn't ready for the rejection that I didn't even see coming. It worries me a little that this canine might do the same thing. For now, he's smiling as he continues to play. I can see the red stinging inside his ears, making me think he's probably feeling the same way I did when I was showing him the advanced math and physics classes I'm taking. But I'm impressed. The coyote's innate ability to seemingly pull beautiful and catchy melodies together seems just as impossible as Cameron said my coursework looked. Where do you even start? Cameron looks up from playing. Like, just the music in general. How do you come up with on the fly like that? Oh well. Cameron scoots over as an invitation for me to sit down, and I do. Everyone's different, obviously, but I guess once you learn really how music works and combine that with the music you listen to, you can sort of, again, his fingers play effortlessly across the keys. Something tells me my limited music library wouldn't give me the experience I need to be able to do this. Cameron had already teased me a little about listening to dad rock. He quickly showed me that he also listens to some dad rock too, but he listens to everything from rock to pop to jazz to classical. He enjoys it all. He had left me feeling flushed and embarrassed, even though there wasn't a good reason to feel that way. Now that I think about it, I realize that I've embarrassed myself in front of Cameron quite a few times now, and I'm not sure that's a good sign or not. Like, maybe I'm just paying more attention to what I say and do in front of him. Artie walking in on us fucking was mortifying, no matter how I look at it, but Cameron had laughed about it afterwards, and he even talks to Artie. They get along really well. It's when Cameron suddenly stops playing, looking at the clock above the classroom door. Well, they said my song could come on at any time after 5, but you know, they might not even end up playing it. And there's the pessimism I've come to expect. It's not bitter or upset, he's just lowering his expectations to avoid disappointment, which is kind of the opposite of how I think of things. They will. Cameron shrugs, looking unbothered. I'm a Cameron type of guy in that regard. I really am. Just temper your expectations. I'm not exactly sure what it is about him that's making this all feel so important. He's cute, funny, smart, and we have longer, deeper conversations than I've had with anyone else. His song sounded a little angsty, but through their dark humor, there's a lot of sadness and pain in the lyrics. When I asked him about it, he brushed it off, saying he was exaggerating in the songs. Everyone exaggerates. He's scared to tell me about his past, and that makes me a little scared too. But maybe, with some time, once I figure him out more. But something is telling me that this is going to turn into something much more. Like, this is more than just a college thing, more than just a boyfriend. Almost like I can see the future. Well, we can, you know. Huh? Cameron starts playing again, this time with a different but no less gentle and pretty melody. see the future. Besides, this has already happened. It's me, Devon. There's a slight laugh in his voice, one that sounds more surprised than anything. I let my mind fall back into the current, confused, traumatized, and angry mindset I seem to always be in now. You left, I felt it. I actually don't know what happened, but I didn't like it. Everything was dark and quiet, but then you were dreaming and now I'm here. You're back with me? I think so, yeah. I sit on the bench next to Cameron, reaching out to touch him. He's solid, and through his sweatshirt I can still feel his slender frame. He's real. We hug, we kiss. It's just like it used to be. How does this feel so real? This is really a dream? A half dream, I think. Has happened a few times before, like I visited you when you were dreaming, remember? Like what happened in Echo? That was more like a nightmare. This is a good dream. Cameron continues playing on the piano. I don't know. You have this beacon-like quality about you that no one else does. I think I'll always be able to find my way back. I kiss him again. Can we not go back? I want to stay here forever. Cameron laughs. We've got time. As long as you don't try to wake up too hard, you might end up right back here again. If things lined up right. But what if we don't? Then we'll stay here as long as we can and not worry about it. I'm reminded of other qualities about the coyote that I love. The way he's often so stressed and full of anxiety, but then suddenly surprises me with his durability and his bravery, especially when it comes to having others. I just wished he'd remember that more when it comes to himself. I relax a bit as the warm late afternoon light continues to pour into the room, lighting up the shiny instrument and the dust motes that swirl around us. You can see that the campus grounds are empty and not bustling with the usual combination of after-class hangouts and studying. Next up, we have a new song from our very own Cameron Wilson, a junior here at Pueblo. The voice is faint, almost covered up by static, called When We Had Everything. Cameron smiles at me and I smile back. I can remember this exact moment, the way Cameron had almost yelped. His surprise and excitement at hearing his name and song come up, instead of even listening to the song we just made out. Man, we sure were horny back then. Touch similar lyrics to Leo's song. Back then? Cameron doesn't say it. Or his mouth doesn't move, at least. And his voice is different. Maybe a little deeper. Mainly, though, it comes from behind me. When I had you in my arms or something like that. Yeah. Leo is like... Leo's song is just about otter dick and otter ass. The Cameron I'm looking at reacts at the same time, spinning to look back, and I do the same. In the split second that I see it, know what I'm looking at. Cameron had told me about it. How it's been following us around since Echo. How it's sort of an echo itself when they manifested after Brian murdered him. We don't know what it wants, but it hurts my Cameron. Reminds him of the pain he went through. And as I look at this fake Cameron, I feel that old anger. The same strange cold fury it had blossomed in my chest after seeing what Brian had done. How it overrode the shock and incoming grief, just long enough for me to finish the old bear. I feel my teeth drawing back in a feral snarl, warning this echo back, and it reacts by looking at me with fear and sadness. For some reason, that only makes me angrier, and I take in everything that makes this coyote so different from the one I know so well. There's a glazed look in his eyes, like it just woke up and it's built all wrong, thicker and pudgier than Cameron had ever been. No, this is some warped, sick creation. It's not even alive, but I know it can still hurt us. It's too late though, so I hear a strange gurgling hiss next to me. I look. Holy fucking shit, dude! When Brian shot Cameron in the face, half of it had been blown away, splattering the walls of the cave and filling it with a smell that I will never forget. Even now it fills my nostrils, and I just sit there shaking, staring at Cameron, seeing his wide, twitching eye, like he's alive and feeling it. But now I get to see him in agonizing detail, without the blood and gore covering the rest up of him. I wonder if he was somehow alive and feeling the pain in the seconds after the shotgun blast, when I couldn't see any part of his face clearly. Stop! I yell at the echo, at the dream, at anything to make it stop. I reach out with my right paw for Cameron's trembling shoulder, scared to touch him because I'm worried I'll make the pain worse. Even now, in this dream world, I can see the scars just visible through the fur on my bright forearm, where Cameron's jaws and teeth had been embedded. Yeah, this is at least a 2.5 sum. They'd had to be surgically removed, and all I can remember is asking a nurse if I could keep his teeth once they'd been taken out. Okay, that's a bit fucked up, not gonna lie, Devon. I didn't know what I'd have left of Cameron then. Even though he was already talking to me, trying to keep me calm. He's not real, Devon. I lash out in the direction of the echo and I feel my fist hit something soft and I hear a gasp, and suddenly I'm back in bed feeling the beginnings of a pounding, awful hangover. But I don't pay any attention to it right now. Come on, baby. You there, please? I'm here, don't worry. Oh, thank God, are you okay? What the hell did he do to you? I don't know. But I'm okay now. I won't leave like that ever again. Are you in pain? Not anymore. Actually, yeah, I am. What the hell? How much did you drink? I laugh out of relief and happiness, but mostly relief. Just glad my coyote's back. Babe, I thought I fucking lost you. I'll be here as long as I can, Devon. and I'll help you find those echoes. If that's what you really want. Now get... Yeah, yeah. Brian just made his successor. I mean, they already warned us in the... Or Devon... not Devon. Cameron already warned us in the main game that this is not the real Cameron. That it is some weird, twisted version of him. And I do think this Cameron that has possessed Devon is making him murder good people. He is just a serial killer, just like Brian, without realizing it. I don't know, I'm just making shit up as I read this, but yeah. I'm convinced that is my theory. Yeah, exactly. Kill people I tell you to Devon. They are echoes, yeah. I'll be here as long as I can, Devon, and I'll help you find those echoes if that's what you really want. Now get up and get hydrated and try to eat something, please. Of course, honey, of course. Get out of bed, the aches and pains from all the things that had happened to me over the past day forgotten. I chat with Cameron as I make myself something a little heartier, drinking a bottle of water along the way. Cameron is back to its old self, and I realize it's all I want. No matter how much these echoes try to torment and hurt us, we are still together. Uh-huh. Echo couldn't change that then, and I sure as hell won't let it change that now. God damn, that's a fucked up alternative timeline. Brian being a serial killer. And not Brian, Devon. Yeah. Pretty depressing note to end on. I mean, yeah, kinda. But, we can still say it's one of the alternative endings and it never happened. Brian to Electric Boogaloo. Okay. Man, I love that title track. Very depressing indeed. Alright, so it was insanely crazy. So what are my thoughts on Arches? I'll probably upset a few people if I say this, but I liked it a lot more than I liked Echo. I'm just gonna flat out say that right now. Echo was good and all, don't get me wrong, I still love Echo too. But Arches had the big advantage, and that's what I'm a fan of. It told a more straightforward and intimate story between two people, because it's ultimately about the relationship of Devon and Cameron and how the happenings in Echo shape that relationship going forward. It's about trauma, it's about loss, it's about sticking together as a couple. It got a lot of themes that I really like and a lot of things to go for. Echo is a different beast. Echo tries to tell a different story that is just as well written. It just doesn't click as for me as hard as this one. Like, Arches goes really deep for me. It really does. This right here is really, it was just pure cinema. From front to back. And Yeah, I will agree with you, Wildfire. It did feel like that they put way more time in this than in each individual route in Echo, to be honest. I will agree with that. And it's like I already alluded to, it also has a lot of themes that hit really close to home for me. And that's what I'm gonna talk about in my video as well. Like, I will make a review about Arches, like summing up the story, my thoughts about it, about the themes, what it is tying into, and stuff like that. And then I will probably do a little bit of a personal segment in how Arches ties with its themes into what I've experienced over the last few years, because a lot of you didn't like really get to experience the shit that happened to me, like, let's say 2.5 years back. It's 2 years back, actually, almost. It's a little bit over 2 years now. It was December 2022. And also what happened before and why I went, or what got me into streaming, what got me into content creation, because there was also a point in my life, I think it was 2019, either 2018 or 2019. I don't really remember which year it was, but there was a time where I didn't feel well, let's put it that way, and had to do a few things for myself and do a little bit of soul searching. And this is also where I ended up starting to stream, starting to do content on the internet, more as a hobby, more as a creative outlet than anything else. And I'll keep it that way. I mean, of course, if this channel grows and if more people come in, no biggie, I will take it. But I don't think it's gonna be anything grand, and it doesn't need to be. That's just my personal feelings about it. And yeah, Arches, fucking 10 out of 10. I'll tell you already. Like, really one of the best visual novels I've ever read. It's up there with like the other insane shit that I love so much. And it really, really is good. Like, this is something I would just flat out, doesn't matter if they are gay, furry, or whatever, doesn't matter who asks, this is something I would just tell them, read it. Doesn't matter, because I think even if you're straight, even if you're, I don't know, even if you're straight, if you're not a furry, whatever, I think you can still relate to the story because it's just that well written. And yeah, this is something that, like, we as of late we've always discussed like the state of the gaming industry and representation and stuff like that. This is, for me personally, a very, very positive example of representation in the video games industry, because it just is there to tell you a very fucking good story, and that's all it needs to do, and that is what it did, and it fucking succeeds with flying fucking colors at it. And that's what, to me, also representation is. You just do cool shit and succeed at it. It's like Zootopia, but with much heavier themes. I'm gonna admit something right here on stream. I've never seen Zootopia. So I couldn't tell you if that's true or not, Wildfire. I've never seen Zootopia. The only thing I've seen of Zootopia is like Like the cheetah and the water buffalo, but all of them were Rule 34. It's all I've seen of Zootopia. Nothing else, only the Guna material. Because what was the cheetah called? Clawhauser, I think, and the police officer were Chief Bogo? I don't even really know their names. I think that's their names, but I'm not even sure. Like, the only thing I've ever seen of Zootopia. There's actually a few really good short FVN Game Jam games you could check out. They take one stream. Give me the names, Orion. I'm gonna check them out. We could do a slight marathon on those. That would be pretty fun. Oh man, I know the names of the characters. I got the names right of the characters. I know the dicks better off because they were everywhere. So we had okay, we had visual novel suggestions. Let me see. We had Where the Demons Lurk. We had 922, Undefeated, Knights College. We have Before You Depart. Maywolf Game Jam, and I'm now your school delinquent lover, but I want out. On the second. I am now your school delinquent lover, but I want out. So they would be basically one stream, right? So are there any other suggestions that we could do on stream? FVN nights. Game Jam. One stream. November Game Jam didn't have voting since it's informal, but 1,000 yards since November and end of line were all good ones. 1,000 yards since November. End of the line. End of the line has a brief instance of bear dick. Potentially not safe for work, okay. I'm pretty new to the community other than Soul Creek. and Liar, which are both quite long. Temptations Ballad and Repeat should be safe. You already have Knights College. Soul Creek. Are Soul Creek and Liar potentially NSFW? And what did you... Temptations Ballad? Repeat. Okay. I'm gonna look all into those. They are all... Yeah, NSFW and also those except Liar and Incomplete. They are NSFW and also those except Liar are incomplete. Okay. Okay. Then those are not probably 4 in here. I haven't seen all of them, so Liar then, okay. Knights College has a safe for work mode. Yeah, it's basically what I bought. I just don't have to install the... Since November has 16 but no visible genital. And it should be okay, I guess. It's a little bit like what with what is it called? Echo, where it was very descriptive of the act, but nothing too serious about it. Okay. All right. Okay, we have some stuff here that we can go with. That I will go with. I'm gonna put Knights College at the top for now. And probably the second we will do is Undefeated, because I really like that one. Knights College I do have, and the German version is safe for streaming, I presume, because I think they also released the same version on Switch, if I don't remember that incorrectly. But I could also be wrong. No, it's just Microsoft Windows. I was wrong. But it at least got the kimono art style, and I like that a lot. The Japanese furry art style. And of course, if you'd want to do Smoke Room, you'd have to be careful if you were streaming it. I mean, our next go will probably be, and I put that in brackets, is Ad Astra, which I will stream off platform. I will give you a I will do a community post, probably linking to a Twitter post where I declare where I want to stream it. So I will inform the community, and I hope some people will come over. I'm thinking of making a Fansly account for it, just so we can stream it there. When we go back to Picarto or whatever, our play, but our play is like full of just anime girls, and I don't know. Probably gonna be Fansly. Fansly offers streaming and whatnot, so that would be good. And we can just read Ad Astra. So Ad Astra would be the one project that I will do off platform. 100%. I will look into where and how, and we'll let you know. It'll happen in the next 2 months, where we start and then never let up. I'll probably do it on a Sunday. So, because Monday I can always stay in home office, so that would be a stream safe day. And we can just do it there. Anyways. Today was a little bit shorter. We're gonna do all the things that we're gonna do. We will find our furry visual novels to look at and to read. And if it's off platform, it's off platform. You are all incredible helpful. Thank you. It's always nice to see the community help out the entertainer. Videos about arches is coming up. I hope I can do it in the next 2 months. I will work diligently on it. Pinky promise. And yeah. Until then, I want to thank you all for watching. You've been, like always, an amazing audience. And I see you all next week. No, I see you all tomorrow. At least the channel members, but we'll see who comes to our first channel member stream. And yeah. That being said, I've been TheOrcosaurus. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for watching. And thank you to Wildfire and to Orion for introducing me to the universe of Echo. I'll be probably be doing this in the member stream. And yeah, thank you for introducing me to this world. Especially since it made me read Arches, which is just fucking beautiful and made me think a lot of late, and it still makes me mow. And yeah. We'll plug on with this program because I have a good feeling about it. And with that being said, I've been TheOrcosaurus. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for joining. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care and bye.